Being Poet Laureate, again, allows me the ability to share my life experiences. I like to think that people like my work. I really never tried to be real strong about publishing it. I've always thought of myself more as a performing artist, but I recognize that for my community, and I don't just mean the Chicano community, for my community in Santa Paula, because this is my community. You know, it's a feather in their cap too. I'm representing Santa Paula. I'm representing Mexicanos, Latinos, indigenous people. You know, I have something to say, and other people can learn from me. I'm not a painter, but I do know I like to write, because words, you gotta taste them. And oh, just like you do chile verde, you know? It's got to taste good. Art, whether it's written, whether it's painted, whether it's create a music piece, a song, whatever, art has always been at the forefront of change. For me, writing has always been a way to understand myself and to improve myself. When I've had difficult challenges in life, I have to write it down. One of my favorite poets that I was introduced to in high school was Robert Frost. And his poem of Two Roads always reminds me of me, because there were two roads, and I took the one less traveled by, and it has made all the difference. I didn't go along with the program in my family, and my poor mom, you know, conservative, Catholic. You're going to tell me that evolution doesn't exist? And I was the only one in my family who would argue with my mom about those things. One time when I was going to school, and I had this black skirt, and I wrote a poem about it. And it was a black skirt, and it was the only short skirt I had. It came in the middle of my knee when everybody was wearing them up here, right? And my mom saw me, and she said, "Luzma, quítate esa falda, take that skirt off." And I don't know what got into me that day. Pues no me la quito. What? ¿Que qué? Que no me la quito. I made my mother so mad. So mad. I had never seen my mother so mad. She tore that skirt in shreds. And I said, fine, I'll take it off, but you're never going to see me again. And I left. And I'm at the Santa Paula bus station waiting to go to Mexico, to run away to Mexico on $5 in my pocket, right? And I called my high school counselor, and I talked to him, and I was crying. He took me home. I talked to my mother. I apologized to her. I asked her to intervene, not to tell my dad. Please don't tell my dad, because I knew I was really going to be in trouble if she told my dad. I am indigenous. I wasn't raised in native ways because I am part of the colonized. Whether I like it or not, I am. But even as a small child, I related more to being indigenous. It was in my bones. And I remember as a kid, I used to have dreams, and I used to dream drums. And when I went to college, and I was invited to the very first powwow in Santa Barbara by this Chumash woman. And I got there, and I heard the drums, and I thought, oh my God, these are the drums of my dreams. Oh my God. And I was just like taken aback. And to come in contact with people who were indigenous, who practiced danza, who practice indigenous ways. It isn't a religion. It is a way of life, of understanding that we as human beings have a connection to the earth, to all that is living. I remember being a kid and hearing that God put us here to dominate over the animals. Very, very different from our indigenous way. We're not here to dominate. We're here to coexist with them. We're interdependent. And that's what I try to pass on to my students. So how do you embrace who you are and celebrate who you are? Chicanos and Chicanas, and the 80s and beyond, beyond. Imagine yourself listening to la música del Twilight Zone. Chicanos and Chicanas, astral pilots of Aztlan, we have rapidly approached the 21st century. Tell me, what have we learned so far? ¿Qué son las cosas that we're bringing with us as we entered the era del sexto sol? The space age awaits us, the computerized era in human form, like an episode from the Twilight Zone. Check it out. Remember the 60s? America's universities were suddenly painted with red, brown, black, and red faces. In school, pueblos and little pueblitos, men, women, and children were kicking the U.S. government's ass. Chicano power, que viva la raza. Chicano power, ya basta. Young warriors took to the streets. We didn't want to fight. This country's pinche war. So in el año 70, we let it be known. Raza sí, guerra no. Hell no, we won't go to the Vietnam War. They came back with an ambush in a park in East Los, and inside the silver dollar spilled the blood of Rubén Salazar, justifying it in their courts. Desde Texas a California, campesinos están luchando. Desde Texas a California, los rancheros a llore y llore. Cesar Chavez, there was hope for the farm workers. Our history unfolds. Flying jalapenos orbit in the Twilight Zone in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and beyond.